Have you ever been injured and struggled with what to do to effectively recover? Well, today I'm going to walk you through it. What's good, people? It's Nathan here from Cryotherapy UK Sheffield, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to design a basic rehab program to help guide you on the road to recovery. Now, you should always make sure you get your injuries properly diagnosed and always seek medical attention from a qualified therapist to ensure that your body and your injury is at the correct stage of rehab in order to perform certain exercises. Remember, every rehab program should be designed and tailored to each individual client's needs, and previous injury history knowledge is vital. This is just a guide to make sure you're doing the right thing on the road to recovery, but also if you have this video on hand, it ensures that you are doing the correct steps and making the correct steps on the road to recovery and to get back to 100%. Please make sure you only use this guide for yourself and don't try to rehab anybody else's injuries if you're not qualified to do so. Now, let's get started. So the first thing to work on is our range of motion and our mobility. So whenever we injure ourselves, all the soft tissue surrounding the injured area will tighten up and stiffen up in order to prevent movement and prevent further injury. However, if we don't keep the injured area moving as much as possible, then it is likely that this area will seize up and stiffen up. So at this stage, we want to keep the injured area moving as much as possible without pushing its limits to avoid re-injuring the area. At this stage, your exercises will be fairly simple, and it is just a matter of keeping the area moving and getting blood flow back to the area to aid with healing. So it'll pretty much be something simple, such as moving your body part, your injured body part, through all the planes of motion without any weight bearing on it. For example, if you were to injure your ankle, we would want to pull our toes towards us and point them, which is known as plantar flexion and dorsiflexion, and then also move our ankle from side to side, which is known as inversion and eversion. If you're finding these range of motion exercises fairly easy, then add a resistance band to increase the difficulty and get more benefit from your range of motion exercises. However, don't do this before your body is ready to do so, because the last thing we want to do is re-injure the area and have to go back to square one. So once our body is ready, the next area we need to start focusing on is balance. So when we think of balance, we always think of standing on one leg. However, depends on how severe your injury is, you may not even be able to put any weight onto your foot and stand on two legs. So standing on two legs is actually also considered a part of your balance. So if you're injured to a point where you can't do this, this is then your next focus, to be able to stand on two legs and hold your balance. So once we are ready to bear weight on both feet, then we want to move on to single leg exercises and single leg balance, and being able to hold our body weight on one leg. So to increase the difficulty in the balance area, we want to look at challenging our base of support. So in order to do this and make our exercises a little bit more advanced, try leaning to a side or reaching out or trying to throw and catch a ball. This can also be done on two legs. Now, the next thing on our list is strength. So now in some cases, it may actually be possible to perform some strengthening exercises before performing single leg exercises. So try to switch between the two. Try to test out your body and see which works, but don't push your body or do anything too strenuous. So at this stage, as we've just started strengthening exercises, we want to do our movements slow and controlled. So try to focus on slow and controlled movements. To begin, it would be best to start off with isometric exercises. So isometric exercises are exercises whereby you are performing a contraction, but the muscle length is staying the same size and it's not lengthening or shortening. So an example of this, the way we perform this is doing something such as a leg press into the wall. So if you just press your foot up against the wall and just press into it, you'll be contracting the muscle without changing its length and still getting the muscle recruitment fibers working and getting used to contracting again. From there, we want to progress it on to doing non-weight bearing, eccentric and concentric movements. So an example of this would to be a squat. So non-weight bearing, coming down and then back up, nice, slow and controlled. Okay. So once we've mastered that, we then want to make it a little bit more difficult and advance it by adding in a little bit of resistance and a little bit of weight in. Remember, progressive overload. So we want to slowly increase the weight up and not just whack the weight on that we was doing before we got injured. Remember, your body has just gone from doing absolutely nothing, so we need to slowly build that strength up. So add on light weights. Don't just chuck on the 20 plates. I know it's hard to do so. I've been there myself. I've been injured. As soon as you get injured, you want to get back to what you was doing best. But the idea here is to slowly build it up, slowly progress it, and take your time. Again, we can also start performing single leg strength exercises. So again, you want to make sure that you're at a really good stage in your rehab and your recovery program before you start doing these. So don't test anything or go too crazy. Remember, slow and steady. So the last stage in our recovery and our rehab program is to start performing explosive movements. So as you're doing your strength exercises, as you get better, as you get stronger, as your injury is getting back to full recovery and 100%, you'll be able to start performing these contractions a lot quicker. So once you're ready and you're feeling confident and you can perform these contractions quickly and effectively and properly and safely, then we can look at start doing some explosive movements involving jumping and bounding into our exercises. So once we can comfortably do these on 2 legs and on 2 feet, then we want to try to do it single legged and start to bring in more hopping rather than jumping. So this is really gonna build up our strength back. And once we can comfortably perform these exercises and these movements, that is when we'll be ready to return to action and return to competition. So guys, that concludes today's video on a guide on how to effectively and safely design a rehab program for your injuries and get you back to 100% on the road to recovery. If you found the video useful, make sure you give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And as always, make sure you're following us on all social media platforms. Thanks for watching guys, and we will see you in the next one.